Hello, Athletics LLC. Here we are. Another day, in theory, another dollar. So we'll see, see how it goes. Um, you know, seasons in, we are definitely in season, right? We're basically midway through indoors. So track is back is going to be interesting because, like Clyde always says, the best weekend is yet to come. So we shall see. But before we get too far into the well, Johnny Jetlag, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm on let's see, hour 25 straight of being up. I think this is like a gonna be like a 38 hour Monday,
What
but
a
we're good.
privilege. Such
Hey,
a
but
privilege.
first world problem for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, I will tell y'all this though. Never ever in my life was I more thankful that Big League suggested slash voluntold me to go get my global entry uh 2 years ago
There you go.
because in today's wonderful times, let me tell you, when you walk up and you can see this ridiculously long line, make a left, they take a picture of you and do you like this? And you walk up and he's like, Chris, welcome back. And I walked in, I was like, yes, please. So PSA, if you don't have global entry and you are going to leave the country in the next 365 days, go get it.
I mean, you got about 45 days if you're black.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just saying.
All of that is all worth it. So it's worth the effort and a little bit of money it does cost. So, anyways, Clyde, how are you today?
We just starting off, pow, 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 pow,
I
pow.
know.
Listen. I I like to consider that we are halfway through indoor, but indoor season in our world is like it's like the first half is kind of a crawl, and then
And then
F1 takes off.
it's like
So
the new roller coaster.
you got a little taste. You got a tip of indoor this past weekend, and some quite very interesting things were going on, both on the positive and the negative side, I think. And then, you know, I'm very much looking forward to the sprint to the qualifier, if you will.
Literally on so many levels.
Yeah. It is always interesting to me that like the entire country decides to do multis on the same weekend.
Right.
I think it's different this year because we've had some early scores. Then we've got the ones that just happened last weekend. We've got a couple meets this weekend.
Yeah.
December shot up with some good scores, which was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Anyhow, before let's get back on track. Not a pun intended. Um, Before we get into the track is back portion, we've got football next weekend. This thing called the Super Bowl, Super Plate, underwhelming. But did you?
And just
I
just
saw
just
something on.
poo-pooing the game already. Just
I did because I saw something on Instagram, and it was a map of the United States, and it was all redded out, and then there was a corner for Seattle and a corner for New England, and said the
Ready?
multicolor represents who's excited for the Super Bowl, or to that effect. And I was like, yeesh,
Yeah, I saw the
tough
same thing
world.
and it had the red in the middle was ready for baseball season.
Oh, yeah,
hey,
no.
look, this year's Super Bowl ain't for you flyover folks, and that's cool. It's a coastal elite game.
It is. I
Yeah.
agree to that.
And the thing is, it's going to be, it should anyway, be a good game. It should.
Oh yeah.
I get it though from big league's perspective though, right? Like when the Super Bowl's in your home arena and your team's not playing, that does suck. I went through that the one
Oh,
time the Super Bowl was outside of New York. It's funny because Seattle was in that one too.
Right. So what of the game, Chewy? What of it?
well, you know, F the game, let's be honest. What is your guys's what is your guys's fondest Super Bowl memory?
Ooh,
Oh,
I, I got one for sure.
I got a small list.
Me too, but I'm you asked for one, so I'm not gonna be a coward. I'm gonna pick one. The ridiculous David Tyree like gum on the helmet catch.
Mm. Wow.
Because as a Giants fan, F them Patriots
No,
and their supposed undefeated season. It was tremendous.
literally one of the worst Super Bowl moments of all time.
Why? You mean for
An un
you?
no, an undeserving spectacular play for two wildly undeserving human beings.
I
Just
mean, you know,
just
like, look,
terrible.
it just that's why it's so awesome because the only reason anybody really knows who David Tyree is
Right,
that one
right.
shining moment.
Like the luckiest thing ever. Um,
Love it though.
so the question was favorite. Now, again, as the king of petty, my favorite Super Bowl moment is ironically tied to this game. And it's my favorite Super Bowl moment because it's the one unequivocally that has pissed more people off than any other. It is the Malcolm Butler interception.
Mm.
Yes.
It is the Malcolm Butler
Oh my
interception.
God.
There's a saying in football world, the ball don't lie, right? So to to Johnny Jetlag's point, Tom Brady and the Patriots lost an undefeated season over a just impossible thing that happened in that Super Bowl. And if you remember the New England Seattle Super Bowl, Tom Brady doing what he does, leads his team down the field on a comeback, throws what is obviously a game-winning touchdown. And then Russell Wilson throws a ridiculous moon ball to the sideline, which Malcolm Butler tips in defense and lands in the lap of one of the Seattle wide receivers, which got them near the goal line. And then they give the ball to Marshawn, and then they forget to give the ball to Marshawn and throw a ridiculous interception to give Tom Brady and the Patriots the win that they had already earned and deserved. But people still, football people, West Coast people, Bay Area people, Marshawn Lynch, they're all still mad about it. So, because that is ultimately probably the pettiest win ever, that is my all-time favorite Super Bowl moment. But I
I
got a
saw
few others.
somebody tweeted that they should sign Marshawn for this game and give him the ball on the 1 yard line.
But see, and this is why I love that moment because, hey, don't shoot the messenger. I just enjoy, reality. There are a bunch of things that led to them not giving Marshawn the ball in that moment. And one of them is the fact that during that season, from the 2 yard line, he was the worst running back in the NFL. He had the
I
worst,
mean,
he had the worst percentage.
Short game.
all, all sounds great. You got a
It's
running
just
back name.
true. It's
You got
just
a running
true.
back named Beast Mode. You give him the football there.
Hey,
It doesn't matter. Listen, I never cared other than the fact that I love Marshawn because I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I don't like either team. Like I'm not like a fan of either team. I just thought it was one of the dumber football coaching moves ever.
I mean, it
And
played
and
out
they
that way, right?
and it shows you that Malcolm Butler does incredible film study, right? Because he jumped all over that slant.
Well, that's also why it's petty and I love it because after the fact when they make films about it years later, there's there is damn film study. There's practice study where they
Yeah.
were working on that play and he screwed it up and he got cussed out over it
Yep. He
and
wasn't gonna screw it up again.
he remembered what they told him 2 days before. So like coaching genius on Belichick and the Cruz part, right? Now my other
Speaking of Belichick, in
yes.
no world is Bill Belichick not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And uh ridiculous non-kudos to the NFL, Bill Polian, Roger Goodell, and anybody who allowed that nonsense and shenanigans to go down. Because I don't care what metric you use. If he doesn't go in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot, no one needs to talk about the NFL Hall of Fame any longer.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's next? Brady won't get in on the first ballot?
Well, so, okay, that's been the obvious take, right? Everyone has said, okay, if we're buying the BS that Polian ran out, it's like some sort of penance for Deflategate, right? That means that we got look, gander and goose, right? That means we're going to do the same thing to the to the quarterback with all those rings too. It's just insane. It was an insane flex that somebody let a really old white guy do,
That's right.
and
To
he's
another
just
really old white guy.
petty. Right, he's just petty. It's like this guy has been. He's the reason that the Colts don't have more Super Bowls. Okay,
That's right. That's all that is.
that's all that is. Sorry, but
But yeah,
continue.
no.
You
So,
said Bill Belichick. It
oh no,
sparked.
I understood. I was gonna get to it one way or another. So my this isn't a moment, but my all-time favorite Super Bowl, 28-3. 28-3. There's nothing better than the 28-3 comeback.
I will say that my all-time favorite Super Bowl had no team in it that I like, but it was the first Super Bowl with two black coaches, and it had, in my opinion, the best Super Bowl halftime ever done, Prince in the Rain.
Prince in the Rain still remains number one.
That's probably my number one Super Bowl moment, even though it wasn't during the game, it was the halftime.
And I'm here for the two black coaches, but let's be real, that game kind of sucked.
Like I said, I didn't root for either team. It was just it was that Super Bowl ended for me when Prince walked off the when the
Yeah,
game
no,
started
yeah.
back the second half. I was like, I don't like. I think I started like playing games and like eating hors d'oeuvres. I was at somebody's house for a Super Bowl party, and I don't think I watched 30 seconds of the second half of that game.
Okay, so we're anticipating that Bad Bunny this year is cool and all, but he won't crack the top three?
Yeah, it's gonna be weird to see how this all plays out and how it goes down in the lore between Green Day and Bad Bunny. Like this could get really
Dicey. Yes.
dicey.
Yes. I'm here for it. Okay, so
So
since
it might be one of those that goes down in the top five just for like historical purposes. You know what I mean? You never know. I don't know.
no, so what's your top three? We agree that Prince is one.
Oh, geez. I like
Kendrick
the
Kendrick is two
I
for me.
like I like the LA salute.
Yeah, that's number three for me. West Coast
Um,
Classic is number three for me.
and then it probably three is probably a tie between Kendrick and the Super Bowl moment that changed the world forever. The better have you naked
Janet,
for the end of this song.
the
the Janet moment.
Yeah,
nip slip.
that is the reason that the NFL football has like I think a 4 second delay now, 6 second delay.
Something like that.
Well, it's funny. So that was going to be my moment. That's in true girl fashion. That was it. But I remember that was when TiVo just came out, and so we were all watching, and then we all realized, wait, we can rewind that, and so we were rewinding it. It was crazy, but so crazy.
So in a shout out for Black History Month moment, does everybody remember why we have Super Bowl halftime shows now?
Hmm.
Well, okay, watch this. What was the Super Bowl halftime show that launched all the shenanigans that we have now? Everybody remembers it was Michael Jackson.
I was gonna say, I think it's Michael Jackson, right?
Correct. But why did the NFL go get Michael Jackson?
I don't remember.
Be able to say.
Because the year before, and in perpetuity before, but the year before, when they used to roll out these boring, very, very weird, very, very Caucasian-esque things during Super Bowl halftime, in living
The
color,
Puppy Bowl.
in
Oh, in
living
living color.
color,
Yes.
in living color
I
took
remember that.
over and did a live
Halftime.
show
Yeah.
with
Oh,
a
I remember
running
that.
clock during Super Bowl. So you turned off the game to go to in living color,
Hmm.
and they had a clock running to make sure you didn't miss any more of the game. But no, you're gonna come here and watch us. And it was amazing. And the very
I do
next year, the
remember that.
NFL
I
said,
do
"To hell
remember
with
that.
that, Michael Jackson."
I
Well,
do
because
remember that
the
now.
biggest reason, right, is because all of those commercial revenues from all those screens not watching that station
That's
for
right.
30 minutes.
That's right. In living color, forever in Black history.
I mean, I'll say this. When it's all said and done and they pull out the time capsule for black entertainment, in living color and the Cosby Show are going to for sure be in it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, somebody said this to me the other day, short tangent, but Bill Cosby did all of those bad things, not Cliff Huxtable. And that actually made sense to me as to why that show should continue to live on in perpetuity, because Cliff Huxtable was like the greatest dad ever. You know, it just sucks. It sucks the human and all the things we now know the human was doing right along the time he was, being the world's greatest dad.
It's a stretch. I understand the point completely. I have a hard time getting there, but I understand.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, that's probably one of the few times in life I can actually, I guess, separate the craft from the artist.
It's still a
Usually I
phenomenal
can't.
show. Still a
Usually I
phenomenal show.
can't.
All
All
right.
right. Well, we're off to a rousing start.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. No, but
Show notes be damned, y'all. Sometimes we just go left.
hard left. Um, but now we put us back on track. Now the pun is intended. So we had Melrose, we had Arkansas Invite, we had what seems like ended up being a very big invite at K-State. Um, UW
Yeah.
Miles City was that Miles City happened on Saturday, and then they had the rest of the invitational Friday. Um, a lot, a lot, a lot.
Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna say this. I don't know, like Travis and K-State are making a very specific play, and it works. You know what I mean? Like they're standing there and say, "Hey, this is what we do. We're gonna be really good at it, and even our meets are gonna be structured around this thing that we're trying to build here." And honestly, I think it's outside the box thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, will it deliver them a national championship? I don't know, but it's very interesting, and
Mm-hmm.
they're doing a hell of a job with it. So even though that meet was smaller on the scale of this weekend and all of these things, like it was impressive. It was really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Like I see what they're trying to do with that. And it's really well done.
Certainly the most difficult World Athletics meet on the calendar to get to. globally.
Yeah,
But they put it on, and
they did.
they had some pretty special performances. That
They did.
playbook is interesting because that playbook's being run like it's almost like someone wrote the playbook and then handed it out to three schools. Because K
Hmm.
Yeah.
State, Oklahoma, and Illinois are running the same playbook.
And Georgia.
No,
Georgia's got other stuff.
no, no.
Like those three schools are running that playbook.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we can't have too many jumpers. We can't have too many field event people.
And that's, and like I said, that's why for me it's really, really interesting because just mathematically, only one of those three can ultimately be successful.
Hmm.
Fact. And the fact that
Only
all
one.
three of them are running the playbook actually makes it really hard for any one of them to win.
Correct. But I see it, I respect it, and just to get World Athletics points, levels, recognition in that building with the meet structure that way, I thought was dope. You know
And
what
they
I mean?
found somebody because part of this, what people don't get is part of the meet being on the calendar like that is somebody had to put prize money up,
Yeah.
right? And so like kudos to Travis and whoever is involved in the like track is a big deal in Manhattan, Kansas right now. I'll leave it that way.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like track's not that big of a deal in a lot of places. Let's just be frank.
It's not that big of a deal in a lot of places that win national championships.
Hmm.
You know, I was just in a very small country that I'm pretty sure track and in particular the decathlon might be the number one sport in the country.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. So it's like the country version of that same playbook. You don't look for Estonian sprinters or distance runners, but they will have somebody that throws and jumps and combined events.
Like, and we always know that field events get overlooked and everything, but like Kansas State right now has three of the top five men's triple jumpers in the country. The worst of which has jumped 1640 inside.
Yeah.
Only, of course, outdone by the 681 from the Oklahoma senior, Mr. Green, in Kansas State's building.
Hmm.
So it's like this is a very interesting play that is going to play itself out. And if you're a super nerd like we are, you appreciate the game.
Don't, because they're
Yeah.
Big 12. I hate on it. Definitely. All the way around. Try not to. Ugh. Anyways,
It's funny. It's
no,
like
but
there's
it is
one of
good.
them in each one of those conferences, right? Like there's one in
Hmm.
the SEC, there's one in the Big 12, and there's one in the Big 10.
Hmm.
Now obviously the meat of the weekend was Razorback, as it
Yeah.
typically is on this weekend. I don't know how I want to phrase this. There were many, many very impressive things that went on at Razorback. But for me, Adeja Hodge was so much more impressive than anything else in the building. It kind of made the rest of it feel like,
Cool.
I mean, 2257 in January is kind of ridiculous.
yes. But it's just like, listen, this is public information. It's not like we need to hide from it, right? She it says freshman Adeja Hodge. She's only a freshman because she's been sitting on the shelf because World Athletics sat her down, right? So it's like that's a hell of a return to the ring. That's a
Yeah.
that's a oh, this is how y'all was playing with my name. So now you're gonna eat this. Right? I mean, she just came in and kicked the table over.
No doubt.
So, shout out to Miss Hodge. That was wildly impressive. And in both events.
Yeah.
716, 20 was it 2253.
Yeah, I knew it was 2250 something.
We do owe our missing compatriot a little a little a little fun dig here.
Oh yeah, they don't have to walk back from the meet this week.
Nah, forget the 4x4. I distinctly remember, and I know you do too, because I don't think either one of us believed him when he said it. He was just mad. I distinctly remember Wanye McCoy will never run another indoor 200. You remember that?
Well, I'll tell you this. It- he didn't run that one either.
Right. I mean, he got
Bro,
better.
I just hope like listen, this is one little like personal prayer from a fan's perspective. I hope Wanye stays healthy the entire year so that the rest of the world can actually see like the fully operational Death Star version of Wanye McCoy because I can't be the only one that thinks that at some point in time the dude's gonna run like 19.4 or 5.
Yeah.
Because he's run so fast so many times and like right before you're gonna get like the big bang, something happens.
Right. No, so
So
I was
so
shocked. That's
I'm
why I was
knocking on
shocked
wood. I mean
when
that
I saw
man,
the entries. I was like, wait, what? What's happening?
what's the expression you used last year? Playing with his food?
No, yeah,
That that
definitely.
2050 and it looked like he had on flats and was in his sweats. Just
That's right.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of
But
interesting things happen this weekend.
so best race, my vote for best race of the weekend would be the Arkansas women's 4x4.
Um, 327, 327, 327.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Wow.
Again in January.
But like, did you guys see it?
Mm-mm.
I didn't obviously.
You got to get on whatever platform, ESPN, whatever. You have to watch it because it was nutty. Like, first of all, okay, so the Georgia women have a new transfer who I know pretty well, a Jamaican young lady from San Diego, formerly from San Diego State. And she ran third. And when they put her, Miss Foot, Shaniqua Foot, when they put
Mm.
her out on third, the race was pretty close. It was not close when she was done, which made it really interesting because they anchored with Miss Smith, who we all know is phenomenal, but Jamesia Ford just promptly closes the gap on the first lap. And I'm like, is she gonna hold that? She's not gonna hold that. And then all of a sudden, Arkansas out of nowhere slithers in between and gets second, like to the line. Like it was crazy. So if you haven't watched it, definitely go watch it. But just for the record, when you look at the list right now, it's obviously 1, 2, 3. But then Georgia B is 4, Georgia C is 5, and Georgia D is 9. So Georgia has options.
I mean, they should,
Um,
right? With that recruiting class, they should.
yeah. Didn't Arkansas B team run like 333 or 332?
330.
Yeah, yeah, that'll play.
Yes. 330.
Out
It's
here playing with people's school records with the B team.
right. No, no, no.
I mean, like, I need people to understand, like, there's a bunch of events that have gone crazy in the last 3 years, right? But nobody's paying attention to how crazy the 4x4 has gotten. And I keep saying, like, y'all aren't paying attention because you think because the quarter has gone crazy that the 4x4 should go crazy. And that's not true because other than Arkansas, you're only talking about one of those legs that's running that super crazy fast, right? Arkansas is the only one that's got 2 and 3, not this year, notwithstanding.
Right.
Everybody else is putting 52 and 53-second people on the track who are splitting 50 point and 51. And I need people to understand like that's not normative. You don't take a 50-point girl and 353s and run 327 or 328. That math doesn't math.
Definitely don't.
But I call it the Arkansas effect, right? Like probably 15 schools in this country, school records have been broken chasing Arkansas and chasing South Carolina in the last year and a half, and now chasing Georgia, right? So now if you got those three who are all clearly pretty fully loaded at this point in time, somebody in the SEC or somebody in a race that they're in is going to run 327 or 328 because they're trying to win. And they're going to, get beat by 3 seconds because all three of those teams are going to run 325.
Right.
Like that's how it happens. But it's just it's really it has been phenomenal and truly it speaks to the competitive nature of of these kids and these teams and these coaches, because we don't have as a country of this leg speed that it seems as if we have. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if you look at the 4x4s, you would think that every school in the country got a 49-second girl. It's just not true.
The 3K and 5K remain unchanged, basically. Boston, December.
There'll be another Boston at some point in time here.
Oh, on qualifying weekend.
I,
But two.
I will give the distance people props because they understand the mission and the playbook.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You will do it. You will do it here, and you will do it on these dates. That's it. What else you do for the rest of the year, no one really cares.
But we did.
Can we talk about the 800 this weekend?
Well, yeah, I was going there.
Look at the Penn State results in the men's 800.
Well, I will pull those up, but we have to give Doris her love for going to New York. And I was gonna say the only change in the 3K happens to be
Was
a
that?
collegiate record,
Is
right?
Doris going and reminding people to hold her beer? Yeah.
Yes. And the freshman from BYU, very much in the mix. Doris just, pulled away. But the 800 meters. Yeah. Yeah.
Read the results from the Penn State 800 meters.
Okay. Let's see. Let's keep it in the top 10 in the country.
Yes.
Number 10, 146.62, Villanova. Number 9, 146.37, Penn State. Number 4, 145.17, Penn State. Number 3, 145.12, Georgetown. And number 2, 144.91, Penn State. First of all, when did Penn State become 800-meter U?
Well,
Secondly,
that's always been that's John Gondak's deal.
no. I understand that, sir. They have three. Three.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
three.
That that race, that series of races there was insane. You're at 146 and left the building thinking you weren't very good.
Only to be outdone by Colin Shawman deciding that he wanted to run the 800 and going to Milrose and going 144.70
Yeah.
for a collegiate record.
Yeah.
That's what we doing?
I mean, Arkansas, two Oregon guys ran 147. I was like, dang, that's really good.
Yeah,
Then
13th and 14th.
and then I watched the rest of the results of this weekend. I was like, what in the name of ridiculousness is going on?
Yeah.
Hey, the trackflation is real. These young people are out here trying to get all that they can.
Listen, we've said this before. I don't know if we said it on camera, but I'll say it on camera now because it's all legal. The tracks are better, sure. The spikes, for
Are
certain.
yes.
But the bicarb
Oh no,
is
and
out of the bag now.
that's why 400, through mile, 400 through 3K, it's all three things.
Right.
It's all three things.
And again, at this point, if you're not aware, um, Google, but this is what is going on. So I don't really see how you get around it at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
It makes you think, and maybe not think is the right word. We're muddying the middle water because the
Oh,
floor
it's a
isn't
gray area.
rising, right? The floor has not risen.
No,
It's
No.
just the inflation has, and it's I don't even want to call it interesting, but it's mind-boggling because you have to play the game, or else you're just going to get left behind. So for the simple fact that like we have high schoolers doing bicarb or taking bicarb,
absolutely.
Yes.
right? Do you remember when Gatorade was the supercell,
It was a hell of a commercial, at least.
right? So, anyways, I
I
got my
remember when
bets.
everybody in the country, with the rave was to take creatine,
That I remember.
Hmm.
right? And then it was like, oh, also, by the way, you need to drink three times the amount of water you were drinking. But bicarb, I'm not going to say that it's having the same effect as a steroid would, but what it is doing, it is taking the entire middle, the entire belly of the bell curve, and raising it to what used to be elite numbers. So
That's
when
right.
you take the truly elite talents who now are like, okay, well, we all must take bicarb, the top is just blown off now,
That's right. That's right.
right? That's what has happened. Is that like the whole chart has been picked up and moved up a level.
And I
Oh,
find it, I don't know. It just seems to me that in 2026, like bicarb been around for a while.
hmm.
But now, I mean, hell, you got random kids on the internet doing TikToks about bicarb now. You know what I mean? Like it's it's just out in the open now. Like it's no longer
Uh-huh.
like, hey, coach gave me this really cool thing that no one knows about.
Right.
Now it's just like everybody. And I mean, like I said, it's not illegal, not even a little bit. Eh, but it is an access thing though, right?
Hmm.
Like there are literally schools that are just buying it like they would buy, protein shakes.
Yep.
And and I get it.
Relevancy. All right. Uh, Melrose had some really cool things happen all the way around. We'll talk about the ones that we can't talk about.
I mean, I remain very impressed with Dina. Consistency at a very high level usually means a big drop is on the horizon, and because it's 2026 and there's no global outdoor medal to pursue, and because she's European and the Europeans tend to care about, the indoor scene a little bit more than others, I hope I get to see a full indoor season from Dina and she can go pursue the biggest prizes out there because she looks great. So again, shout out to Ford and Ford Racing. But Milrose, I'm always impressed with how Milrose finds just enough every year to scrape out to keep themselves relevant. You
I
know,
feel like it's tradition.
well, it is, right? But okay, Penn is tradition, but Penn sucks. Like,
Yeah.
it just, I'm sorry. Like, the high school stuff is great. It's great. And it'll always be great, especially if the East Coast continues to care, and they will, and the Jamaicans continue to show up, and they will. But
Mhm.
outside of that, anything above the high school level of Penn has died. Milrose is not about the high school, though high school kids are very impressive in it. And it's not about the collegiates for real. They always find a way to keep their professional stuff. They get just enough out of it to make it relevant. Like I said, wasn't nobody expecting Connor Showman to come
Yeah.
run the 144 and beat all the pros, and you know what I mean? Like that was supposed to be a
Yeah.
Bryce Hoppel race. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just somehow, some way, Melrose has a little something about it, right? You always end up with awesome performances.
Colin Schulman. Connor Schulman's a
Connor,
hurdler.
Colin, yes, Colin, my bad.
It's okay. Um, what? Oh, shoot. I just jumped off of it. I thought overall the presentation of Melrose was enticing.
Yeah.
So I thought they did a good job of that. Um,
You know what it is? It's it's a very traditional, very old school, very New York
mm,
indoor party. Like Athlos is the new school
yes,
outdoor shit. You know what I mean?
I I can dig
They
that.
roll out the right red carpet to make you feel like watching it on TV. I don't, forget in the building. Watching it on TV, it's like that's very, very cool.
Well, and they did a good job of having enough for each of the genres right
Yeah.
now, right? Age group, collegiate, just out of college, and then the pros. So at any given point, you could be paying attention, but not necessarily bought into it and still be entertained. So, well, obviously, everybody's watching the pros, but to watch the little ones and whatnot.
I think the one thing that can't be overstated is the draw of Madison Square Garden. And I know they don't do Milrose there anymore, but it's still, as weird as this is to say, Milrose still gets the respect and the juice in the track and field world as it did when it was in Madison Square Garden, right? It was one of the places on the season you had to be if you were good enough to be.
You still get the juice.
You still get the juice. Like if you're somebody who doesn't run indoors, right? You're probably and you get an invite to go to Milrose, you're gonna go.
Well, if you saw the Cordell Tinch interview, that's basically what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, honestly, this is the only meet that was on my schedule. I was coming to the East Coast, so I ran Boston last week, like for the hell of it, but this was the only one I was gonna do because it's Melrose.
Much more interesting in that interview is that he plans on long jumping this year.
I was gonna get to that. Yeah. And to his point,
That is relevant to all of America and the supposed jumps initiative and all these other wonderful things. If they want a medal in the long jump, they better figure out how to support him in his endeavor to long jump and hurdle.
that's right. Because we have fumbled the Javon Harrison double jumping bag.
Yeah, that ship has sailed.
So, listen, I don't take a problem with Tinch's premise. I jumped it before. I don't see why I can't jump it again.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that simple, but
Right?
you know, he's young enough
That's the issue.
that he could probably jump back in it, and because he's still like here on the,
Yeah, the
you know,
curve.
on the curve, he's not up here. So, um, I hope it works. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, the hurdles could get really interesting this year. If he doesn't really hurdle that much and Grant runs the sprints,
Yeah.
is this the Trey Cunningham year?
I mean, no, because respectfully, as a fan, nothing Trey does in 2026 is going to matter.
Oh, no, no. I just said this
Yeah.
year.
No, but you see what I'm saying? Like if he's
100%. It doesn't matter.
yeah, like it has to be done when there's an actual prize up there.
You know, I had this conversation with somebody earlier today. That is the thing that that people need to understand is that as an American, you are expected, I'm gonna say that again, expected to win medals, and you are expected to win medals at global championships. So it's cool and cute to do other things, but your respect level in the US pantheon is going to be based on medals and the colors of them at world championships and Olympics outdoors. Everything else is commercials.
This is very true. I think I would be remiss not to point this out. And again, we're halfway through. We'll see how it plays. Many things to come. But if I told you that halfway through the indoor season, 3 of the top female sprinters in the country were from UT Rio Grande,
On
East
the Houston
Carolina,
track.
and Florida State, you would have never believed me.
This is like last year when the young lady from Tarleton went out and dipped off on everybody, and they're like, "Wait, time out! It's a white
Right.
girl with red hair,
And
and
she's
that's not
still fast.
and she's still fast."
She's just number 13.
Yeah, yeah.
So, props to, those folks getting it done out there.
All right. So what in the ridiculous event meter, um, is it the 60 or the 60 hurdles that's going to be the most ridiculous this year?
Well, the men's
Because
60, the men's
they're
60 is
both
already
off the
made.
chart.
Listen, the men's 60 has, to its point, made its play. 660 is off the board now. That's done.
That's
Six,
17th.
it is officially 16th. It's done.
It's definitely done.
Yeah,
That's
660 is out.
660.
But look, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way tie at 59 for 11th. So yeah, 660 is out. The women haven't gone completely berserk yet, as 25 is still holding on. But yeah, 660 dead. Um, the 200s are winding up.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
200s haven't
I'm
gone
not.
crazy
Yeah,
yet.
I'm not putting any stock in that list.
There's still
Um,
a bunch of 23s on that list, and they won't be.
And I
oh, I
think
meant the men, but yeah.
no, but both sides. And I think that goes the same for the 400 minus the 2 marks that we've got early.
Yeah, the 400 is still very much
Still cooking.
Yeah, the Valentine's
brewing.
Day weekend is the weekend of the 2s and the 4s.
Yeah,
Always is.
let's get to the hurdles. Let's see.
Well, while you're looking at that, not to forget, uh, got a shout out to the pole vault, Miss Hannah Mole, 488 this weekend.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Okay, here just by name recognition, the men's hurdles may have pushed the 60 off the top right now.
This weekend, yeah.
So 768 is last man in right now, which is nuts. But the man just below the bubble is Jacoby Tharp.
Right.
Jacoby Tharp's 65 is number 15. So yeah, um, we all expect Mr. Tharp to safely get himself into the show because he's just that guy. But if he's the bubble, then what the hell is going on at the top?
It's every time you think we've gotten to a point where things are going to like normalize, so far in the last 3 years, that has not happened.
I'll tell you this about the hurdles, about the men's hurdles. And who knows how it goes, right? But I know Jacoby Tharp can run 7.4 or
For sure.
better,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Okay. So 51, 52, 55, 56, 56, 57, 57, 58, 59, 59. That's 10 people.
Hmm.
I know at least 6 of them can run fours.
Yeah, it's gotten, and remember, two of the 51s were actually 49s, but they were
Correct.
run at Tech.
Correct.
So when the clock stopped, it didn't say 51.
Now, here's the fun part. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because, and listen, this just may be big school shenanigans. On the list, I'm going to take the hurdles. The freshman from Georgia, Mr. Brown, his time is listed. He's number 13 at 761, converted from 59
Hmm.
for his race at the MLK meet in Albuquerque. Now, sir, none of the Texas Tech marks have been converted, or at least they're not flashing as converted on the list.
Well, the Texas Tech kid ran 7:49, but it's listed as 7:51. But you're saying there's not a C next to it?
Uh-uh.
Uh, well, we know it's converted.
Okay. I'm just
We do know
I'll say
that is interesting that there's no little C next to it.
I'm about to say did we find some way to not convert marks?
Stop it.
Did we find some
Stop.
way not to convert marks in Lubbock?
The marks are converted. They just are not listed as such, which is weird. And look, I'm like you are. When I see these things, I'm like, I always think nefarious just because life has proven to me that most things that I think are nefarious are.
No, for the
But in
record,
this
we're just
particular case,
we're just being funny because if you click
yeah,
on it, it clearly shows that Mr. Andrews' run was 49, but it doesn't
correct.
show as a conversion on the list. Absolutely doesn't.
That's funny. That's
Just
funny.
knowing meat management. I wonder if that's an athletic.net thing.
Yeah,
Could
I don't
be.
know.
You know what I mean? Just a new way of doing it.
I mean, hey,
Um, okay, I lost it. Never mind.
no, I mean, so the next big weekend is Valentine's weekend, but there are interesting meets on the horizon this weekend. I think if you're racing this weekend, I think people pick an event and go try to pop something off so that on Valentine's weekend they can go after the other thing that they're trying to pursue, if that makes sense.
Because there's meets at A&M and Albuquerque this weekend.
There are.
Mhm.
So like if you're going to those meets, you're trying to do something.
That's right. And we're back in Reno. Reno's back on deck. I'm telling y'all, more folks, you need to get to Reno.
I think Reno and Indianapolis are the two most slept on tracks in the country.
I can see that. Oh,
Let's looking to travel.
I was simply say this. There's a meme floating around the interwebs that ranks the best indoor tracks in the country.
Oh my God.
I don't know who put that thing together, but that is nonsense.
I contend whoever put it together is a UNC grad because UNC's flat 200-meter track is on that list. It made no sense.
So we're voting
Um,
that an East Coast egghead put that thing together.
I mean,
An ACC grad somewhere put that
the
thing together.
the early returns would suggest that, sir. Yes.
So we'll get y'all an official 2026 LLC meme of the proper indoor tracks. Unsponsored, of course.
Right. Untainted.
Yeah. I de You know what's interesting is what would be a really interesting one is to rate the tracks, but but it has to be across the board, right? Because Clemson is an incredible place to do some things, but not necessarily. I mean, I don't know of anybody that's gone to Clemson to run a 5K.
Well,
Does that make sense? So
that's why
like
it's a
that
facility
yes,
conversation.
yes. Because
Facility.
I what I think I would love to see is like the top five all bang for your buck facilities.
Coming soon on LLC.
It,
That would be fun.
And we'll
all
get
right.
y'all a nice pretty meme for you to share on the Twitters.
Where do we go next, Big League?
Um, Training tip. So now that we've rolled everybody through some mud, we'll let you know how we would do something different or the same. Um, we're talking about going all these places, specifically New Mexico or excuse me, oh my gosh, College Station. Um, what are your must-be's, must-haves when traveling in regards to strength and conditioning in season?
Hmm.
So mine's pretty easy. We're in the weight room the whole entire time, all but, I mean, even for my group, we're chasing, we're not chasing, I don't like that word. We are attempting our national marks this weekend. Um, they'll go lighter for 2 days, and then that's it. And we're right back at it on Monday. Um, the one thing about the travel part of it that plays a role for me is principles, like the testosterone spikes and the load, and keeping those in play. And sometimes it's got weight with it, but sometimes I'm doing just movements that make that happen as well.
So, but I'm saying what you're saying is you seek out on the road, you seek out ways to get your lifts in.
Correct. And if it's ultimately impossible, principles still be in play.
Got you. Um,
So are we answering both pieces of that?
Yeah. I mean, what is your method, and then how do you
Cool.
handle it?
Um, I would say from my perspective, from the travel piece, I try to match travel days and non-heavy CNS things as best I can. And I also try to normalize activities on travel days. Like everybody in the group understands like what we do on travel days, right? So like we travel, we do this, we do that, right? We go to the track, do the shakeout, and do like we're doing these things regardless of how you feel from travel. If the track isn't available to us, then we're going to, we'll do that in the hotel or we'll find a gym. But at the end of the day, like, the travel day routine for the most part is, you know, um, I also think what we've had to learn how to do, I think you'll agree with this, is um, especially when they're just meets and not combined events, we still lift the day before a competition if we need to, or after a competition if we need to, because the cumulative work has to happen. So we can't take out those sessions out of convenience in January, February, and March and expect to be able to last through September. Right. So, like, you may be a little more sore than you want to be, or that is comfortable in January or February or March, hell, in April, because we won't start pulling those sessions, you know, and addressing how you feel probably till May.
So this is very interesting for me. I agree with both of you on principle. You are absolutely correct. And what I'm probably going to say is the wrong idea on principle. But in the situation that I'm in, it's just kind of the way that we've had to roll with it. I will say this. The people that I've seen most dedicated to this issue are throws coaches and multis coaches. Like y'all will go to lengths to make sure that the lifting schedule is uninterrupted. I gotta tell you, we kind of just chalk it.
Yeah.
Like for the indoor season for specifically, right? No, it actually plays that way outdoors too. If we are getting on a plane, we're getting on a plane on Thursday. Friday is usually some kind of competition, and Saturday's a competition. On a non-travel week, we're lifting 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. When we know we're traveling, we just kind of chalk Friday to, like it's not going to happen. And the reason we chalk it is out of convenience because the
Hmm.
places that we've traveled to, there's very little access or appetite to try to get a lift done on said campus of whoever is hosting. That brings in a whole list of access issues and insurances and, favors that I typically just don't want to deal with. And then
We started calling
finding,
it those the Pelican workouts. So
right?
you bring a Pelican full of med balls, and that's your Friday lift.
Well, so that's where I was getting to, right? And so you could, in most cities, you could find a gym, a public thing, and you could pay a little fee, or maybe you could sweet talk your way in. And like I said, listen, one of the most amazing things I've ever done is be with Mo Satara while seeking out and organizing the off-site cow lifting on the road for the throwers. Like that was an amazing experience, right?
All the hacks.
Right. But for the most part, what I'll do is find some med balls in whatever venue we're in, or add a few plyometrics to the to the process on the Friday, right? But I can't remember the last time I spent actual time trying to address this issue unless it's at a week-long thing, a
Mhm.
regional, a national, an Olympic trials, a USA's. Outside of that, those bubbles, hey man, we just gonna chalk it.
Yeah. I guess so. This question just swayed my whole chewing the fat segment. So,
Well, it's good. We inspired
well,
you.
yeah, because of recent events and then what we're talking about now. So,
Cool.
in regards to stimuli, right? Like that's what we're always achieving, the different stimuli, keeping consistent stimuli high enough, when we're not wanting to be the athletes to be stimulated and whatnot. When do you push that stimuli out of the question, out of the equation, and just go for the work? So I'll give you the example I'm talking about specifically. This past weekend, we went to Houston. So if you've heard about the Houston meets, chaos is usually mentioned as well. That's an adjective that is safely thrown into that mix,
I would say that is absolutely true.
right? And not to mean like fires in the building and everybody's running out. It's just it's a large meet. It's point blank period. And the discussion came as to why did some of the athletes run well and some of them didn't. And some of it came to, well, they were just appreciative of the opportunity to run and took advantage of it, and the other ones sat in the chaos. Um, you know, having had that preconceived notion for my uh, self being observed, um, I chose not to choose to bring my group, and I controlled the chaos by keeping them at home and not jumping them. So my question to you all in chewing the fat is, when do you choose chaos over method? I guess is the best way to say that.
It's a great question. So I'll say this. I had to learn this, what I'm going to say. But I think when you sit down and plan out your season, you are calm, cool, collected, and clear headed. And you need to stick to your guns as it goes, because sometimes somebody ran, like, the list can scare you a little bit, right? Well, we haven't done such and such yet, and there's 12th in the conference list is this or whatever it is. But you have to believe and trust in your process. And if that means you need to lift 3 days a week for the first month of the competitive season, if that's what you had planned, you need to do that, right? If you need to go to, this meet or that meet, and it's for stimuli bumps, or like it's an off event for what you normally do, but we need the strength work, whatever it is, you just got to stick to it, right? And you have to believe that when it matters, your people are going to be doing what you expect them to do, because that's the artistry of coaching. I think what happens to a lot of coaches, and I know it's what happens in a lot of athletes' minds. So if you're not in their head playing defense, this will definitely happen, is it's reactionary training, racing, all of that, right? Somebody goes and pops off. And now either a little bit antsy coach, or for sure any athlete who hasn't already done it, they're like, oh no, like they don't want to fall behind. Like, I got to do something. I got to do something different. And then they start putting pressure on meets that were not meant to be pressured, right? Like if part of what you're training is like, we're going to do an opener, and then we're going to do an off eventer, and then the third meet is when I'm expecting you to bang. You can't have the athlete show up to the first meet thinking this is where I'm going to get my qualifier, because you're not training them for that. So like, if you're not on the same page as they are, that's a problem, because then they're going to do bad, and then now the panic button's going to get stomped on, right? So it's just, I think the key is clear head, sound mind and body when you write it out, and then trusting it as you go forward, because you can't let the list change your mind and change what you do and change what meet you go to. And the big one for me is change what events you do at meets. I see that happen all the time. You're
Yeah.
not planning to run a quarter until February 15th, but the list is hot and you feel like you got to get one in. So now all of a sudden you're changing what you're doing. I'm like you got to pay for that somewhere.
Yeah, you stole my argument there.
Sorry.
No, you said it very, very well. Um, I understand why athletes are emotionally reactionary to the things that they see. Coaches can't do that. Like you can't do that. That is the quickest way to blow up so many things, right? I'm not here to tell you what strategy is best. We all get the phone calls. What workouts? What do you? I'm like, hey, listen. I don't design training for these people that you're talking to me about. I don't know these people that you're talking to me about. I'm happy to listen to your plan and why you thought it was a good idea, but I can't. What I am doing with Zoe ain't got nothing to do with what's going to work for you, right? So you cannot be reactionary to the lists, the conference list, the national list. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's a delicate dance, though, right? Because at least for me, I want my team to be aware of what the hell is going on around them. I want them to be competitive about. I want them to be in their feelings that they're number 13 on the Mountain West list and you want to be top 10, right? Like I want that
Oomph.
juice,
Yeah.
but it's all in the right time. I spend so much of my time at meets, um, doing psychology, and it's like, hey, I told you day one of practice. I only care about 5 meets: indoor conference, indoor nationals, outdoor conference, outdoor regionals, outdoor nationals. That's it. I don't care about none of the rest of this. It's practice with uniforms on. And in this weekend's practice, I would like to see you do boom, boom, and boom. Damn the time. I need you to prove to me that what you showed me you can do on Tuesday, you can actually do in a uniform.
Yep.
Like that's all we're ever trying to do. And I think from a sprints perspective, the event indoors, at least, that it's the hardest to get them to do what you want them to do is actually the 400.
Mm.
Because like every year with someone on my roster, I have this battle. You're not going to learn how to run the 400 correctly until you are willing to go out there and die at 3.
Yep.
Like you still think it's cute. You think you can spot 3 people some space and come around them. That's not a thing.
Not in the real
Especially not
world.
indoors.
Not indoors. We could have that
Not
conversation
indoors with
outside,
real quarter
but you
milers. No
can't do it
chance.
inside. And the funniest thing is, it's all proven by what you witness if you choose to go look. Like one of my kids today was like, Coach, you see how fast they ran the 400s at Arkansas? I was like, yeah, I don't give a shit about any of that. Did you look at the splits? They have splits? Yes, they have splits. Stop looking at the final result and go look at the person you were so impressed with. Go look at what they came through the 200 meters in. Because I keep trying to tell you that this careful mess you're trying to do ain't gonna work.
Didn't get left.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to teach racing skills, during indoors and hopefully,
No,
bring them outside.
that is a real thing. I mean, I was just at a meet in Estonia with a 4-lane indoor track, and they ran 9 women in the 800 in a heptathlon, in a pentathlon.
There you go.
This is exactly what I said. Sharpen your elbows and get out, because you will be in ninth place if you don't get out of your comfort zone in the first 60 meters of that race. There's
Forever.
not enough space
Like forever.
forever because you
Yeah.
can't run around that many people.
Right.
It's just not
So
a thing.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like listen, you can have a plan, you can stick to it, and you can realize at the end of the day that your plan was shit and you should probably change it next year. But you cannot have a plan in place and then see that Marissa Chu and the Funky Bunch went out there and rolled out in the 200s and then okay, hold on. This weekend everybody's running their twos. We got to
Right.
catch
You
up.
can't,
Yeah.
right.
Don't do that.
Have a plan.
And the thing is, we're saying it lightheartedly, but I hope people are real. Like, this is real. And if you're honest, you'll look back at your own coaching career and you'll admit that you've done it. Because if you're not honest, you're going to keep doing it.
That's right.
Every one of us who's any good has done that at some point in their careers. We're just trying to help you not do that anymore or again. Because it's just not a thing.
I
Because the bad part is when you change the plan in the middle, now you have a test being done with no constant, right? So the results are just results. They don't mean anything.
I'll give you. I absolutely did this, and luckily, when dealing with myself, I am quick to snap out of things. I did this in 2013 while running the Art U program. We were mostly running at what used to be the really fast track up in Boise. right? And I knew we had a really good team, and I knew we were going to be in the mix for the national championship. So I was just trying to fire as many bullets as I could to flood the list, right? To to get seats on the plane. And it was our second indoor meet, and the first one went okay, and I was like, okay, school X got some times off. Nah, we gonna go make a statement. And luckily for me, the men ran first. I put everybody in the 200 because we were gonna come out of there with 9 qualifiers. And one of the guys who we hadn't even discussed running the 200 got hurt. And I was like, hey, pull the plug. It's done. Everybody's out. Done. It was a bad idea. Whose idea was this? Oh, it was my idea. Yeah, nah, we ain't doing that. Pull the
Yep.
plug.
Yep.
Listen, you gotta admit when you're wrong.
And it's okay. The world did
It
not
is
end.
it is okay. I think sometimes along those same lines, real quick, before we continue on, is you can't forget which kids you're peaking for conference and which kids you're peaking for nationals. Peaking. Don't let's not get stuck on that word, but preparing for nationals and which ones you're preparing for conference. You can't forget that.
Oh, it's a different thing.
It's
Mhm.
a different thing, but that also is a 2 week difference,
Shit,
right?
outdoors, it's a month difference.
But so you can't get your national kids start thinking I gotta go hot, I gotta go hot. It's like, no, because you need to be hotter 2 weeks after this
Mhm.
group has shot their wad, right? The conference level kids, you are trying to get them to empty the tank at conference. Hopefully that's good enough to go to nationals. And then we hold you off for 2 weeks. We do
That's
the
right.
best we can to, but you're past your sell by date, if we're gonna be honest. But we couldn't prepare you for nationals because then you wouldn't even make the final at the conference meet,
Well, that's why the tweeners are the hardest people.
without
Yep.
question. We spend the most time on the middle.
That's
Most
right.
people don't want to coach truly developmental, like talent up here, execution down here. Most people don't want to tackle those people. Most people are also deathly afraid of coaching somebody who's talent up here, execution up here, expectations up here.
Yep.
Because those people are the ones that they're like, just get them to the meet. Just get them to the meet. Like, okay, but you got to make them better. And in order to make them better, sometimes you got to be willing to risk to break that egg. So instead, we as coaches, as a coaching body, we spend 85 to 90% of our time coaching the middle. And if you go to track meets, you can see the track meet is catered to the middle.
Well, thanks for elaborating on my.
Supposed to say thanks for chewing the fat.
I can't say it. I was gonna. It was ready. It literally was gonna come out of my mouth. I was like, no, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
It's
That's
your
why.
segment.
That's what the hesitation was. As it was like,
I
no.
knew it. That's why I said it.
So, but appreciate the principles, appreciate the thoughts, and hopefully we've tickled the brain of some who are watching or listening. So, believe it or not, we managed to have a very efficient show, even though we did go off the rails a little bit, and we've covered all of our topics.
Well, that's because the
So,
governor isn't here to run his mouth incessantly for 40 minutes about nothing.
I refuse to do not include me in that.
oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
You
So,
We
know,
miss the governor.
if he's
I know,
pontificating, it's because we have sent him on some sort of deep dive mission.
That's
right,
right. The man who speaks the least on
Right,
the
for sure.
right.
But he's still doing all of the research during the show.
That's right.
Oh.
So, everyone travel safe to wherever you're headed off to this weekend. Run fast, throw far, jump high and far, and most importantly, turn left while you're doing it. So, have a great week, everyone. We'll see each other next time. Bye now.